How much is Pope Francis worth? Every religion hinges on belief. Sure, the belief may be on a place or a person. Well, it sure doesn't matter. Belief can be public-spirited or just something artificial. One thing is for sure, having a firm belief controls your devotion to a particular religion. We live in a world where spiritual religious people show the common public the way of the enlightenment and truth. Before we get started with this video, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell button. Stay in touch with all the fun-filled and very exciting videos we share on this channel. Pope Francis is the embodiment of religious belief around the world, and especially with the Roman Catholics. He's believed to be one of the most prominent public figures. The process of electing a pope with white smoke and individuals around the globe waiting endlessly for the result shows the true allegiance people hold for the pope. Anyway, you may have come across public figures that believe in this simple-minded approach of life, and instead of swimming in mind-boggling net worth, with way less net worth than what is anticipated from them. I bet this sort of humility pushes people to place their trust in them and provide every personal and financial requirement they may ever need. As a result, their worth becomes more than what people expect. Hence, the net worth of Pope Francis is dumbfounding enough. To some large extent, we don't start talking about the Pope and a religion without talking about the Vatican. The Vatican has a handful but a dedicated population of a substantial amount of value. It is no doubt one of the wealthiest and most religious states around the world. The Vatican is just pilgrimage for Roman Catholics, which makes it tons of wealth and riches. With all the millions this place has amassed, it's difficult to estimate its worth, but statistics propose that the state is worth about $15 billion. It's shocking that for such a small city-state with this small population, could hike up to that outstanding worth. Enough about this city. Let's talk about one of the very important individuals that made the city worthwhile. Yep, you guessed right. Pope Francis. Sure, almost everyone's aware that the Pope is one of the world's most public figures, and yet you may not know him as well as you think. Here are just a few facts to help you understand a little more about the people's Pope. Pope Francis is the first Latin American to lead the Roman Catholic Church. Do you have an idea that the Pope is also known as Jorge Mario Bergoglio, and he hails from Buenos Aires, Argentina? Well, if you did, you should even know that almost all the past popes were from Europe. In fact, about 200 of the lot were from Italy. Amazingly, the 266th Pope is also the first of the Jesuit group to lead the church. He has a diploma in chemistry. Okay, so this might come as a surprise to you because it sure was a surprise to me as well. Anyway, just before he entered the diocese seminary of Via Devoto, the Pope graduated from a technical school where he underwent some training as a chemical technician. He once taught psychology and literature. Guess what? There are a few more surprises up the Pope's sleeves. Apparently, being the Roman Catholic Church leader is not the only thing the Pope is great at. Evidently, he taught psychology and literature and psychology at Immaculate Conception College in Santa Fe. A year later, he taught the same subjects at the Colegio del Salvador in Buenos Aires. Nonetheless, he didn't stop being a student just yet either. In 1986, he received a doctorate in theology in Freiburg, Germany. He almost became Pope back in 2005. After Pope John Paul II died, Jorge Bergoglio, as he was then called, seemingly received the Papal Council's second most votes. But Pope Benedict XVI, also known as Joseph Ratzinger, nonetheless emerged the winner. He can be very stealthy. BBC Rome once reported that Pope Francis snuck out of Vatican City the morning after his election, a convoy of unidentified vehicles to pray in a Roman cathedral. He turned down an offer to a fancy apartment. While the previous popes generally reside in more fashionable quarters, a tradition that must have lasted almost a century, Pope Francis chose a simple 2-room apartment instead. He kinda loves taking selfies. You may not have noticed or been very observant of this fact, but Pope Francis regularly enjoys smiling next to his fans' outstretched arms, a new techie tradition not faced by many popes who have come before him, although the move actually proves to be a rather challenging one for his security detail. He loves it no less. His smile showed just how much he loves it. His very first international visit as Pope was to Brazil. In July 2013, Pope Francis toured Brazil. At the beginning of his tour, people began to notice the refreshing approach he brought to the papacy. For instance, while Pope Francis has made speaking of poverty the foundation of his papal tactics, He's also surprised how many people with more open attitude toward the environment, women's rights, and the gay community. Pope Francis is the only pope to ever make it on the cover of Rolling Stone. This is no doubt another proof of his warm welcome around the world. The Rolling Stone's January 2014 feature was even titled Pope Francis, the times they are a-changin'. He also made a pop rock CD. Alright, so maybe he was more suitable for Rolling Stones than we thought. The album, called Wake Up, that was released in November, features the Pope giving speeches and singing hymns with upbeat tunes in the background. Trust me, you sure would love to listen to this to believe it. He actually doesn't love the bulletproof Pope-mobile. This fact is just amazing. According to CNN, the traditional Pope-mobiles are totally bulletproof. Amazingly, Pope Francis refers to them as sardine cans and even says he'd rather be closer to the people than getting parked up in a can. He's been seen all through this papacy touring around his other vehicles like Jeep Wranglers and Fiats instead. He only has one lung. As a teenager, the Pope had a rather severe infection that made him undergo surgery that ended up having one of his lungs removed. Sadly, this procedure would have been avoided today with the advancement of antibiotics. Pope Francis was the first pope to be honored as Person of the Year. Snickering at baby pope lookalikes, stopping at every given chance to bless children during ceremonies, going to see the sick, and encouraging the less fortunate are just a few of the reasons he is known as the People's Pope, and probably why he was the very first pope ever named Person of the Year by Time in 2013. Now, enough about the facts you may not have known about the Pope. Let's discuss how much the Pope is worth. As you already know, Pope Francis was born on the 17th of December 1976 in Flores, Buenos Aires, Argentina. He currently serves as the head of the Catholic Church and the sovereign of the Vatican City State. He's the 266th Pope of the Church after Pope Benedict XVI. His forerunner held in high regard and called him to meet before he gave up the papacy. Now, the modest personality of Pope Francis is known to everyone. Even shown more openly in the movie Two Popes, when he asked Pope Benedict XVI to stay the Pope for very long and retract his decision by making him the next Pope. He was made the Pope when times were rough and there were claims of misconduct by the papacy. He managed to pacify all the rumors and succeeded in maintaining peace among people. These very traits add to his worth substantially. Pope Francis is not loud in his expenses. He's a very modest man who believes in living in humble environments. As a result, his net worth might be a little less than his predecessors. Nonetheless, the man has won the heart of millions of people. The net worth of Pope Francis has been continually in the discussion as the numbers are pretty low for a pope. His worth is estimated to be around $25 to $28 million. However, this number varies with different estimations. What is more, Pope Francis controls various assets in the Vatican. These assets are somewhat not added to his net worth. Still, the information concerning the Pope's assets is not consistent enough to be calculated in his net worth. Willfully, the Pope has been simple-minded in his deeds. This makes it difficult for people to properly determine his wealth. And that's it for today, folks. How much is the Pope worth? Do you think the Pope's net worth is lower than what a Pope should have? Are there other popes before Pope Francis that lived a humbler life than he? Let us know in the comments down below and we'll include it in subsequent videos. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more videos like it, be sure to leave a like and do not forget to subscribe. That's it for me, guys. I hope you all have a tremendous rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.